Hey, I'm Steve, and in today's video, we're going to continue working on the AI generated um, expert advisor that we've created for trading prop firms. And this is using the EMA and MACD indicators. Now, we have actually identified a couple of issues that we need to sort out today, and we're going to use the AI to actually fix these problems and get it working correctly. If you've seen our previous videos, you would have seen that I've actually set this up to run on a demo account, trading three currency pairs or symbols, and we wanted to see if it is actually working correctly or if there's any issues in the actual code that we need to fix up. So we can see here that we've traded on the pound dollar, the dollar yen, and gold. And I did actually identify a few issues, and this is what we've come up with. So the entry conditions are not correct on here. They're actually a little bit the wrong way around. So we can see here that we entered here for a short trade, and the EMA indicators were correct. It is below the 200 moving average, and the 50 is also below the 200. So the entry is correct there. But the problem is where the actual entry is. So we wanted to actually, when the MACD line crosses the signal line down, we want to enter. So in this case, it would have actually been on this candle. However, it's actually entering when it crosses up through the line. So the signal has gone below and then crossed up. The MACD line has actually crossed up through the signal line. So it's actually given us the signal at the reverse time. So we need to actually fix up the code to actually change this one. The other issue we have as well is with gold trading, it's not getting the stop loss and the take profit in the right place. So we were trying to risk 1% per trade. And if you check the inputs here, we've got 3,000 points for the actual stop loss and 3,000 for the take profit. However, this particular trade here, we can see if we count how many points is like around 9,000. So it's not actually calculating stop loss in the right place in the take profit. Also, we can see that in the history as well. When we look at the gold trades, one that we've lost here, when we're risking 1%, we should be losing somewhere around about $95 to $100 on a 10K account. In this case, we've actually lost 2.55, $255. We've had another one here, 163, and we had a win here of 275. So the actual stop loss and take profits are not in the right place for the calculation on gold. So that is the two things that we do need to fix up in today's video. So let's start with the actual code, and we want to look at the rules for entering and exiting. Okay, so check for entry. Here it is. We've got the EMA part is fine. It's the MACD that is not right. So this is where we need to change. So I'm just going to copy. Actually, I'm going to copy all of this code for long and short. No, actually, I will go straight into the AI. Instead of copying it, I'll just try to explain what the actual issue is and see if it can fix it for us. Let's see what changes are made here, and we can compare them right away. Okay, so it has identified here that the MACD signal logic is reversed, and it's going to fix it now. So let's see what it comes up with, and hope this actually solves the problem for the entries. I'm just going to have a look at this in the actual code so I can actually see what the difference is. Check for long entry. The main line crosses above the signal line. Okay, I think this is correct. So let's copy the code and paste it into the editor. Hit compile. Just check that we've got no errors. Now we'll have a look at the strategy tester, and we'll do a visual on this one and just see if we can actually get the correct entry points, at least anyway, for the trading. And I'm leaving the settings the same as what we actually had set for default for this particular pair. So this is for the pound yen. Now let's see how that looks. The issue with this particular indicator is it only shows the signal line, not the MACD line. However, we might be able to fix that. Let's try creating a template that we can actually use for the tester. This might actually solve the problem for us. I'll just close the strategy tester for a moment. So we're starting off with a blank chart here. We want to add our indicators. We have a different version of a MACD indicator that I've downloaded on the internet, so we'll actually use this one instead. We want to save the template as tester, and I think that might actually work for us to actually solve this problem with the visual. Let's try that now, see if that makes any difference. Okay, it did. So we can just minimize this one out of the way, and okay, let's check now for the entry points using this MACD indicator. Okay, here we have a short entry. The moving averages are lined up. The 50 is below the 200, and the price actually did close below the 200, but then it went straight back up. So this was probably a bad entry, and it would have been a better one to filter out. But Looking at the entry point, yes, so this was actually where the lines actually did cross, but let's look for a better entry point. This one's not very clear, so we'll find the next one and see if that looks better. Okay, this one is for a long entry. And again, not very clear. These lines touch, but wouldn't see that they actually crossed. However, in the histogram, you can actually see that there was one candle there, which looks like this was in line with this one. So I think the entry was correct, but let's look for a more clearer entry. Okay, so this is spot on. We can see here that the MACD line has actually crossed the signal line here. And right on the next candle, the long trade opened. So that actually does look like it is working correctly. Just let it go through and take a couple of trades for us, see how it looks. Okay, so this is actually looking good. Now the next thing I want to do is just try a non-visual test, just so that we can look at the actual graph and see how it looks. Okay, it did actually close in a profit. So the time period is from the beginning of 2024 up to the end of October 2025. We've got 1.1 for the profit factor. We made $2,600. Let's see, the drawdown was 11%. Win rate 46%, so not too bad. 9 consecutive wins, 8 consecutive losses, so that's okay. So this actually is working correctly now anyway, so we can actually put that one on the demo account for testing. Now the other thing we wanted to check is trading for gold, because there was an issue with that one. See if we can fix this problem as well. So we've got down here 3,000 points for the stop loss and take profit. And first we'll just do a graph test to see if it's actually profitable with these settings. We will need to optimize this again. Okay, there is a lot of up and down on this one. So the actual settings we've got now are not perfect. We only made $1,100 profit over 1 year and 10 months. So that part is no good. But let's just check to see if the actual stop loss and take profit are actually being calculated into the right locations for starters. Yeah, now this one just closed at the end of day, and that was 1,900 points. So that's nothing we've been tested on yet. Okay, we do have the entry here. Now let's see if we can find the stop loss and take profit levels. I think the problem is that they are way too far away from the actual entry point. I'm going to try this again on a different chart. I go maybe a 1 hour chart. It might give us a chance to actually see where the entry and exit are compared to the actual stop loss. Yep. So you can see here, the stop loss and take profit are totally out of range. It's actually 10 times further than they should be. So it's actually 30,000 instead of 3,000. Okay, so we've identified an issue there. Now let's see if we can fix it up with the AI. We need to tell the AI what the problem is. So let's try. I've kept this plain. I said, when trading gold, the entry and exit pips are 10 times those I've entered in the inputs. Let's actually try changing that to the that's what that should be. Yeah, let's see if it can fix this problem for us as well. Okay, it has identified the problem. And it's just working out the changes now. It's making some changes to the code. Let's see how this works out. All right, let's try this bit of code now and see if it's solved this problem for us. Now, I did see there is a new function here called get pip value, which it's had actually added. Okay, I can see what it's doing here to get the pip value correct. So let's try. Let's try doing the same test again and see if it actually gives us the correct value or correct figures. Okay, this looks a little bit closer. I think we might be right. And yes, that is correct. So the take profit and stop loss are in the right place now. Now the other thing is we want to check the volume to see if it has actually calculated the lot sizes correctly. We can tell that by when it hits the take profit or stop loss, it should be 1%. Okay, so in this case, it's actually lost 10% and not 1%. So that is another issue that we need to fix up with the calculation. I'm being very specific here. We're saying one more issue. When trading gold, the risk is not calculated correctly. Risk input is 1%, but the volume is 10 times higher than it should be. When hitting the stop loss, the loss was around 10%. Okay, so let's ask the AI to fix this problem for us. And if we can resolve this problem and it actually works correctly for all symbols, gold and forex pairs, well, then we are back to putting it back on the demo account and testing it for the correct results. Now, to make sure it's actually trading correctly. Okay, now I'm just going to copy the code again, paste it into the compiler, and I'm just going to have a look now at the actual function that calculates the risk. Calculate lot size. Okay, so this is the updated calculation for calculating the lot size or the volume. Let's see how it looks now when we do a visual on this one again. So the volume should be around 0.3 roughly. And I think it's still too high. The stop loss is in the right place, but I think the volume's going to be, I think the amount we're losing is going to be $1,000 again. Yes, it is. Okay. Let's go back to the AI. Okay, it's redoing the calculation again for the lot size to see if it can actually correct the actual problem again. I'm just going to have a look at the code here and see if I can identify where they've made changes. Okay, there are some changes here, so let's have a look at this one again and see how the calculation is. No, it's still not right. We've got the same size volume here, 0.33. So let's go back to the AI again. Hey, let's see if AI can fix it again. Okay, it says here that it's identified the problem and it's going to fix it. So let's see if it actually does fix it. I love the way AI is working or how Claude actually does all of this. It actually shows us exactly on the screen what it's doing and it generates the code on the right hand side of the page. So, and all we have to do is hit the copy button and then paste it, hit the compile button, make sure there's no errors, and then test it again on the strategy tester, see if it works. And no, we've still got the same problem. It hasn't fixed it yet. It's really struggling with this. We can see here again, $998. Give it another chance. There are manual ways that I can go in and change this. But we're letting AI try to figure it out for itself because I would prefer that everything on this trading bot is actually done by the AI. I actually do know how to manually fix this problem myself, but I'm going to leave it at this stage and see if AI can do it instead. Now, here we go again. See if we can get the correct calculation this time. No, we're still getting the wrong result. Okay, back to the AI again. See if we can figure it out. Okay, Claude thinks that it might have identified the problem. It's saying here that when we're getting the pip value and calculating the lot sizes, we might be double correcting. And that's why we're getting a value that's 10 times higher than it should be for the lot size. So let's see what it calculates and see if it fixes the problem again. Okay, we've got another result, so let's try it. I think if we do this a few times, we will eventually work out what the problem is. Once this one's solved, we can go on to testing the EA and doing strategy testing, putting it on a demo account, make sure it actually works correctly. And here again, we are still getting the wrong result, the wrong value. So still no good. We've had quite a few attempts at it so far, and it's still not working. But I'm just going to have a look at the actual calculation, see if I can figure out from what it's done the correct value is. It's trying a whole different approach now to see if it can find a new way to calculate the lot sizes. Let's see what it comes up with. We have another result, and then let's see how this one works, if it solves the problem for us. Okay, we've got the correct result now. 0.03 lots for this calculation. However, the stop loss and take profits in the wrong price. It's back to 10 times more. Okay, so it solved one problem and messed up another one. Okay, let's see if we can fix that one now. Okay, Claude thinks it's found a solution for us, so let's see if this is the case. I hope so, that would be great. Okay, I think it's done it. The stop loss and take profit are in the right place. So that is 3,000, which is what we've entered in. Now let's let the trade go and hit the stop loss, and it should be around $100. And here it is, $90. So yeah, allowing for spread and slippage. That is correct. Okay, so now I'm just going to let Claude know. Actually, first of all, I want to check this with with another symbol, like a forex symbol. I just want to make sure that it's working correctly. Let's use UJ again. Before I say thank you to Claude, I just want to make sure that this is all working correctly. And if this calculates the correct block size, then we're set. No, it looks like it's not. Yeah, it's too small. So that's a bit of bad luck. We'll have to go back to Claude again and try to fix this problem. Yeah, let's see what the result is here. We want to test it again in gold as well once we actually get it working correctly for forex pairs. Okay, I think the lot size calculation is correct here. That is, let's see, around 36 pips. Now we had a stop loss for this one of 50. I'm not sure if that's right or not. Let's see. This is, it's only 40. Whether the values are correct, it's only lost $98, $97. Let's just have a look at a few more trades, see how it looks. Okay, that's about 49. So we've spread, then that's probably correct. And that's stop and take profit is about 90. So yeah, that is actually correct. Okay. Now let's check the wins and losses. They should be all around about $150 for a win roughly. So there's 165, that's fine. And around 90 or 95 or 100 for a loss. So this is correct. Let's go back and try gold again. Just want to make sure that it hasn't messed up the settings for gold. Just loading our gold settings here. So we're back to 3,000 and 3,000. Okay, it looks like it's correct. Yep, the stop loss and take profits right, and the lot size is correct as well. Let it just do a couple of trades. Have a look in the history and look at the numbers. Now, some of these trades are being closed at the end of day, so we might not get the exact value that we're looking for. So we've got a stop loss hit here, which was $90. So that is just under 1%. Yep, it looks like it is actually correct. So let's thank Claude now, and we'll save this as a new version. Okay, so I told Claude that it's working correctly now and to save this as version 1.03. So once that's done saving, we will do some strategy testing to try and find, or the optimizing anyway, to try and find the best values. Okay, let's copy the code again. Okay, that's done. So we can see now that this is saved as version 1.03 and everything else is correct. So we just need to now make a modification with the optimization because the settings are going to be different now to try and get the best results. So let's start with gold because we're already on the screen for that one on the chart. So we're going to the M15 chart and we want to change this to an optimization. Okay, we can use the same optimization settings that we actually had previously. Let's do that and see what the outcome is. The results are in from the optimization. We have a couple of options here over which settings we want to choose for our default for testing on the demo account. We can actually look here at the total profit. The highest profit was $6,013. The stop loss was 2,000 and the take profit was 6,250. But that had a 15% drawdown, which I think is a bit too high. If we go down the page a little and look for a lower drawdown, see if we can find the best settings with a lower drawdown, we'll see how it looks now. So here we've got drawdown is only 9% and the profit is only 2,838. We've got a stop loss of 3,500 and a take profit of 7,750. And also we've got 3,000 and 3,000 for both values, which is also not too bad. The other value we can look at is clicking on the drawdown column and looking at the lowest drawdown. And we can see here that 3,500 for both the take profit and stop loss seem to be the lowest drawdown settings. So let's go with that. We're doing a test on this one to see how it works. We have here a long period of drawdown, a lot of wins and a lot of losses. It looks like more recently, anyway, since about June 2024, it's been on an up run. So that's actually not too bad. Let's save these settings now as the new default for gold. And we will do the same things for UJ and GU as well. Some interesting results when I tried testing the pound dollar on the optimized values, and everything came up as a negative. So there was no profiting settings at all. So we're going to lose this symbol GU from the actual trading list, and we'll look for another one as well. We want to find 3 that are actually profitable that will actually work. finding more pairs to trade with this particular strategy. Besides the dollar, yen, and gold, there's only two that seem to be profitable. And even that's not great at this stage. It's only slightly profitable for each one. So I'm going to go into the AI again and make some more changes. And let's see what we can do here. I'm going to ask the AI to put in an additional filter or entry point for the trades. First thing we're going to do is just save a new version, so 1.04 we're up to now. And now we can actually make some changes. Okay, Claude has come up with the code for us, so we've just added this one extra filter. For a long trade, the MACD main must be below the zero line, and for a short trade, the MACD main must be above the zero line. So let's see how that affects the actual outcome of this one. Okay, there's no errors in. So let's go back to the strategy tester, and we'll test it again on UJ. See if this gives us a better result. I'm just going to use the same settings that we previously had, which will probably be wrong now as well. But let's see what the outcome is. Yeah. Okay, now the next step is to optimize this. Using the same settings as previously and see what the results are. New setting for UJ. We are testing now on a 1 hour chart and getting a positive result. So we'll save the input settings. So the stop loss is 50 and the take profit is 200. And let's save that. We'll just change the chart to H1. And now we'll do the same for gold and GU as well. See if we can get a satisfactory result for each one. Filter in, we have 3 pairs now to use for trading after doing optimization with the new rules. And I will share the code with you in a moment as well. But we do need to copy the set files over to the trading platform, ready for testing on a demo account next week. So here we have it. The new set files are working on the H1 chart. So we've got gold, and we have CAD, and UJ. So that's our 3 pairs. So I'm going to copy these set files now. We want to move them over to our trading platform that we're using for our demo. I'm just going to open the data folder. And we've got a preset folder here, so we'll paste that in here. Now, we are not using PU anymore. We're going to be using CAD instead of this one. So we just need to add CAD to our list. And we can just drag that chart over to replace the pound. We want to change the time frame to 1 hour. And we hit F7 to load the settings. This one is the head. I'm going to leave the target as 0 and the minimum as 0 for now. I don't think we need to have them in here for the test. And the settings for the CAD on the 1 hour chart is 30 stop loss and 110 take profit. Everything else is still the same. Trading time is from 1 a.m. to 2300. Okay, that one is saved. Next is UJ. We want to change that to a 1 hour chart. Load the settings for UJ, H1, there it is. And the last one is gold. Now loading gold for the H1 chart. So the settings are 2000 stop loss and 7500 for the take profit. The rest of the settings are the same. Okay, now that we've saved each of those, we need to create a new demo account. So we're just going to right click and say open a new demo. And we want to do a $10,000 account.
Incoming mail.
Okay, the account has been created and this is ready now for trading starting from Monday next week. What I am going to do though is close the platform and then reopen it again. That will actually save the settings in case there's a computer crash at some point or a power failure. If the system has to be rebooted, then the settings will still be saved. Now, one last thing is to share the code with you. So we are now up to version 1.04. So I will scroll through the code slowly so that you can either screenshot this and type it out later, or you can type it out and just pause the video as you go. That's it. All the code has now been displayed for you so that you can copy this down for yourself. And I've put this now on a demo account ready to start trading next week, and we'll see what the results are or if there's any changes that we need to make, if there's any errors.